Hey everybody, I'm Sue Landay. I'm the president of Trainers Warehouse, and today we're talking about recognition and giving people positive feedback. And the reason that we're doing that, and I'm going to share my screen here for just a moment, is because there have been numerous studies, I'm kind of looking over here on my computer, that show that recognition can improve performance by as much as 24%. Now, some of these studies are a little bit old, and this is according to a number of meta-studies and meta-analyses that look at a whole bunch of studies and find that that's kind of the average. And so a while back, we put together this infographic on how to think about recognition. And I also want to say, this is a show and share. So right now I'm showing, I'm going to share, but I hope that you guys all will as well. So this isn't just going to be me talking the whole time, but just to get us started, thinking about recognition, I think we should always start with what's our goal. And we know that it does improve performance and that we should do it frequently. Another interesting data point that has come out of those studies is that after monetary or non-monetary recognition, that people most appreciate is praise. So this is also why we come to everyday accolades, inspiring team success, thinking about playful prizes that might encourage participation, and just making people feel special after they've had greater achievements. So we want to kind of start with, why are we doing this? And then what are the tools going to be that kind of helps make that happen? Before I move off of this infographic, I want to kind of bring attention to this idea of passing it along. And actually, maybe that's the first, I'm going to stop my screen share now. And maybe that's the first product that I want to show you as a tool to get people to kind of create a culture of appreciation. And this is the token of appreciation. And I have my laptop here. I hope this is going to work, but bear with me. And let's see. Let me open this up so you can see. There we go. Is that right? No, I had it right the first time. Token of appreciation. So on here, there's a poem that encourages people to take time to recognize one another. And on the back of this token, so it's two-sided, one side says token of appreciation, and on the other is pass it along. Because the idea is that you want people to, when they get this, not just keep it for themselves necessarily, but pass it along to somebody else. With this family of kind of token and cards, we also have, I like this one. This is, you got caught doing something good. And just a happy way to surprise somebody and show them that you noticed them. And on the back, there's a place to write a note. So all of these are blank on the back. How are we doing so far? Is this working for folks? Yeses, nos? Okay, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to stand up now, and because I have all these toys behind me and want to share some of these. So this is a spinning wheel, and on one hand, it can be used just for, prizes and fun. It could also be used for participation, like so to put team names here or question categories. So you could have somebody come up, spin the wheel, and figure out which question category. It could also be that if someone, offers a great contribution or is the first to answer or something like that, you can bring them up and have them spin, and maybe they get a Starbucks card or a free lunch, or they can leave early, or the group takes 5 or break times. So that's another way that you can kind of point to somebody, give them some recognition, have them get some movement by coming up to the front of the room as well. Lots of kind of other fun, these are fun squeezies. So muy bien, and top dog. We have the you rock and the top banana. And so these double as recognition, they're stress toys. People can bring them back to their desk, remember that they were kind of called out for something positive, but it's also a reminder of the class and what they've learned. And we've noticed that with all of these squeezies, you can actually write on them with a pen. So you could also kind of inscribe something, a message with a squeezy toy like this. Okay, I'm going to move on next to these Kudos Notes. I know I'm going through a lot of stuff, but these are kind of interesting. And can you guys see these okay? Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. So each of these, they're different colors because they're each for kind of a different purpose. And Sarah, I think, may be able to put some of these links into the chat. But so like the blue is more for peer-to-peer. So on here, you know, you're a great listener, you give great feedback, you took one for the team, keep us on track, you're a great role model, you challenge us, things like that. So there's some ideas here of how you can recognize people, and of course, a room for a note. The orange one is more for a manager to give a subordinate or a team leader, because there's also, you know, you said no, you made a good mistake, you made my day, you made a great contribution, you deserve a vacation day. You know, deserving and giving might be different, but I'll leave that all to you guys. The red is for values. So when I did some research several years ago now, looking at company value or organizational values across, you know, hundreds of organizations, and was looking at how they explain what their values are. And there's a lot of overlap in company values. And so we put that together into 2 pads. So, you know, you made a positive impact on the world, customer service, respecting diversity, team player quality, integrity, happiness, communication. And so these are values that a lot of organizations and individuals share. And we have them both in this format, and we also have it as an I noticed. And this is actually a two-part form. So you give one to an individual, but you can also keep a copy for yourself or for a manager. Somebody's got their needs to mute, if you can think about that. Actually, let me see if I can figure out what that might be. Okay, I think we're back on track. Okay, thanks guys. So the last 2, gold, we'll start with gold. This is for teams. You helped your colleague, you went above and beyond, you gave it your all, you're willing to go out on a limb. So it's more like how we work together as a group. And finally, the green is for growth. Taking risks, making mistakes, asking questions, helping somebody out, things like that. So great for people who are kind of, you know, taking chances. And we've seen folks create basically like a recognition station, and have these out so that colleagues within their organization can write notes to one another. So it's not just, I guess, appreciation station, that's what we called it. So that you can have some of these stuff that folks in your organizations can share with one another. So it's not just the manager or one person always giving this stuff out. two other things I'm going to show you, and then we're going to talk about like when and where, and I want to hear from you guys. So this is, I'm using my, you can see this, right? So this is Scratch and See, and let's say it comes with kinds of these perforated sheets and these stickers that are scratch off stickers. So basically you can write something on one of those and actually print them off and then cover it up with this, and you've got your homemade scratch and see scratch tickets, because people love scratching, and you can put your own prizes in there, and it's just kind of a super fun way. Excuse me, if people are you know, again, if they're the first to participate, or you want to encourage some behavior, and you can kind of give them some positive feedback, some recognition. And again, none of these things are breaking the bank. They're fun. So I'm going to show you one more, and then we'll chat and answer questions and stuff. So these are our newest addition to the collection, and they're called Slice of Nice. And so you take the cake, you're a star, you're one of a kind, with a little unicorn. We have thank you, orange you great. Okay, it's a little cheesy, but still fun. You make us shine. And finally, you're an essential piece. And when we just brought these to ATD, people loved them. I think that in our catalog and online, you can't really see what they are, but they're just like these little pocket tokens. They fit in your hand. And, you know, where we started about passing it on, you know, what a great way to do that. So I'm seeing some nods, and let me see. I want to remove the pin from this, and I want to hear from all of you. When do we use this? When are you finding recognition helpful and effective? What questions do you have? I kind of want to just open it to the floor and see where the conversation takes us. So unmute, talk to me.
Well, for me in training, I feel like one of the things I've been working on lately is when somebody asks a really good question and makes a good point, I find that I want to try and give them more recognition for asking those good questions because it helps everybody in the class learn, but somebody had to step up and do it. So I love getting those, and I try and say, "Oh, thank you. That's a great point. Let's talk about it."
What do you typically use? Because you don't need any of this stuff. You could also just like grab
I
a bag
just give
of
them a
M&Ms.
little applause
Applause,
and
like nothing, just applause. I love that.
yeah, or like a big cheesy grin, and I just thank them for asking it, and I say, "Hey, that's a great question. I'm so glad you brought it up."
Excellent, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I work for, the government, and so we have to be really careful with gift giving, and I'm using air quotes. So I love the idea of these little tokens and things that, I can afford even if my budget won't say it's appropriate, right? Um, but I was kind of wondering, so, the scratch thing got me
Yes.
thinking, can you use, the token? Can you use the token to scratch? Can you use
Yeah.
those little pog things that you just had? Are they
Yeah.
good to scratch with? Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fun. Yeah.
I think you can use, yeah, it's kind of like, it has a sharp, it's not a super sharp edge, but yeah, you can use the tokens. I just used a key. You can use a coin. You can use, you know, the token of appreciation, any of
Yeah.
those things. So, right, if people don't really have change in their pockets these days, yes, you can use any of those.
Cute idea. I love that. That's great.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That's actually, the Scratch and See has been one of our products. I don't know, Sarah, what do you think? Like 10 years? I don't know. There's some things that just like they're evergreen. Yeah, Casey. Oh, no, you weren't going to say something. Sorry, your name flashed on my screen. Other questions or suggestions? I use Cindy is sharing in the chat too, which is also welcome and helpful, and actually plastic trophies. So I forgot about these guys. The Oscar cousins. So we've had people either around Oscar time or, you know, award season or not, give these at the end of a session, which is a little bit more of a flourish than what we were talking about earlier for, like, you know, everyday moments, or just to get people to talk. But we have had people say, oh yeah, we did this at the end of class, and people started to give acceptance speeches, and they had like this whole event and brought closure and excitement and energy. And as we know, like the brain science of all of this training tells us, when you create emotional and memorable moments like that, the material becomes imprinted. The fact that they went to this training session becomes imprinted in their memories. And, you know, it all kind of feeds on each other. So it's not just that they're going to do a better job or be happier. They're actually going to remember more of what we're sharing. So it all kind of works together and integrates really nicely. So let's talk. I think a lot of people were nodding about getting people to kind of be that first one to talk. Can anyone give some examples of like how you make that happen? What do you say? How do you introduce it? Do you tell them you're going to, you know, that they'll get a prize? Or what does that look like in real time? Can anybody share that with us? Don't be shy. You're all amazing trainers.
I think that people are quicker to perhaps provide a comment or feedback or a scenario if they know that they're going to get a prize, even if it's a, you know, Jolly Rancher. But I think that you have to also be okay with waiting them out and using the silence to encourage them to speak up. I know it always seems like you've been waiting 5 minutes for someone to speak and it's been 3 seconds. So you have to get comfortable with that. And I think that that's a very useful technique. And then when they see that there was some sort of reward for that, then it becomes actually easier the rest of the workshop.
Note to self, I need to do that on here too. Good point. And I'm also noticing, is it Shannon? Did I say that correct?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Shannon's point about making sure that there are no wrong answers. I sometimes refer to my blog posts at different times, but I did put together a post, I think in the past year or two, about wrong answers, and not just saying that there are no wrong answers, which I love, and a way to celebrate and make wrong answers kind of more fun, so that if someone answers wrong, like when I was first thinking about it, I would think of, it's on NPR. There's the show on the weekend that my kids always tease me for listening to. It's not It's Only a Game. It's something else. Some of you probably know what I mean, but you know, they do quizzes, and they have comedians participate, and they give hints, and they make it fun. Wait, don't tell me. I should have said, wait, don't tell me. And then I would have been like, oh yeah, that's it. Thank you, Melody. Exactly. So they give hints, and they make it, you know, they just sort of make it playful to not necessarily have the right answer, or to give people choices that are so off the wall for answers that, you know, if it's wrong, it's okay. Or to say, ask the audience for help. and kind of give outs in other respects can also be, fun ways to sort of create a culture of we're all in this together. And, as you said, there aren't any right or wrong answers. How do we figure this out together? Because when we're learning, the whole point is that we want the group to be learning, right? It's not just about what we're telling them. We want them to be thinking this through on their own. Other tips and suggestions. I'm giving you time to write into the chat also as I catch up on that.
Weird. I do like that about the letting them know that it's okay to make mistakes. You had mentioned ATD, and I did attend ATD in one of the sessions that I had gone to. It was about how to incorporate games into your training. And that was one of the things that they talked about was like in games, it gives you, you get multiple lives, or you get ample opportunity to be able to play the game again. It's not just, you fail once and it's done. So it should be the same way in your training. And I definitely like that. I think that's a great idea to incorporate that it is okay to give the wrong answer, and that we're going to move on and it's going to be good. So I do like that. I like talking about that.
Yeah. And it's sort of like that growth mindset, kudos of hooray, you made a wrong answer. Like, let's cheer for that. Let's cheer for putting yourself on the edge. And, because it's one thing to feel like, okay, I can participate if I know something, but it's so much scarier, to do it and not know if you're right, and to take those stabs. I realize this isn't recognition, but as I think about that challenge in general, I think that's why a lot of us also resort to having small table talks and bringing people together to talk about their answers. And then maybe you've got, table recognition, table rewards. And maybe those tables come up with answers, and then folks vote on which they think, which team or which table should get the recognition or something like that. So I think that you can be really creative with that as well. And yes, it's recognizing the effort, not just the answer or the contribution. Yeah. Other tips or questions about what I've showed you or how to use it?
If your office is set up this way, it can be nice to leave an anonymous recognition on someone's desk. So it's not you handing it directly to someone or they knowing that it's particularly from you or anyone, colleague. I think that with the recognition station that you were talking about, the appreciation station, that was one of the things I like about that it can potentially be more anonymous, and that gives its own little thrill that someone recognized you and they didn't even want you to necessarily know and feel obligated to call them out for something that they did, right?
Yeah. Love that. Yeah, that element of surprise. And you're just like, who did this for me? It feels special, right? Is there a way we can do that in class, in sessions? Maybe at the beginning, as you're sort of setting the tone, you can say, hey, during breaks, have those have those notes available so that people can recognize one another, because that can also build relationships. Well, they don't know who it is, but still they'd probably be more open in the environment knowing that or feel more confidence.
So we did a similar thing for our ATD board members. So at a planning meeting during lunch, you were asked to use Post-it notes and just note like one thing that you appreciated about each person on the board, and just put the Post-it on their desk without your name attributed to it at all. And then that person was able to read through those, not knowing who said what, but still getting those positive affirmations. And so that was a nice way of doing it as well.
Love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Other questions and thoughts? Are there any products you're hoping to see that I didn't show? No. Okay. Snap cup. What's the snap cup?
The snap cup in Legally Blonde was sort of like what Melody was saying, I believe, about like writing like positive things about each person on a little sticky note, and then but you leave no names on who wrote it, but you say something nice about one person or lots of people, and you put it in the cup, and then one person reads it out, and y'all do little snaps of appreciation after we read out these nice things about each other. And it's just that recognition without the expectation of getting it back from someone else. And you can do it when somebody's like having a hard day, or if you're talking about a hard topic, just to help spread that joy a little bit.
Awesome. Well, I think we should end with that. A great contribution, and thanks to everyone who shared their ideas and their thoughts with us today. I will stay on for a while in case you have any other questions, but want to just kind of thank you all. I hope that was helpful for everybody to kind of see and think about this in a little bit more depth. So thanks. Have a good day.